What is up, you guys? Today I have a tasty vegan beefless beef stuffed empanadas with salsa de habanero recipe for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy. So to get started, for our stuffing, we're going to be using 2 chile poblanos, 1 red bell pepper, a red onion, some beefless beef, and some Daya mozzarella shreds. For our dough, we're going to be using some cold vegan butter and some all-purpose flour. For our salsa, we're going to be using 2 Mexican green onions, 2 tomatoes, some cilantro, about 6 chile habaneros, and about 5 cloves of garlic. Step number 1, we're going to make our salsa. We're going to cover our comal with some aluminum foil, and that's just so that our veggies don't stick and make a mess. And we are going to grill our tomatoes, our habaneros, our green onions, and our garlic. Now, my green onions that I was able to find were huge, but you could use like about 6 of the little ones, and I was using the Mexican green onions because I find them to be sweeter, so I thought they were maybe more delicious for my salsa. But of course, you could always just throw in about half of a large regular onion. Here we're just grilling away. We want to make sure that we get a nice char on the outside of the skins of our veggies. Now, it goes without saying, please do be careful. This thing is hot and you guys don't want to burn yourselves. I was trying to do it with my hand, but then you see me grab a fork because I couldn't handle it. I see my mom do it with her hands all the time, but I guess she has more experience than me. So here we're going to take out our garlic. They're usually the first ones ready. We don't want to overcook them. So after about a couple minutes, once you get a nice char on all your veggies, we are going to start putting them into our blender cup. I wish I had a molcajete, but I don't know what happened to that thing. So after we put all our ingredients into our blender cup, we're going to add our cilantro. We're going to add a little bit of salt. That's according to your taste. And a little bit of oregano. Also, we're going to add a tiny sprinkle of ground black pepper. And we are going to pulse the blender. We don't want to necessarily liquefy it. We want it just pulsed. And there you have it. Pour it into a bowl and save it for later. Next, we're going to get our seasoning for our filling ready. We're going to put a tablespoon of salt, a half tablespoon of ground black pepper, a teaspoon of thyme, a teaspoon of Mexican oregano, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of grinded up basil leaves. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of garlic salt, a half tablespoon of Italian seasoning, and a teaspoon of red pepper chili flakes. So give those a quick stir and set them aside for later. Next, on a hot pan, we're going to be adding some oil, and we're going to be throwing in our diced red onion. We're going to saute that out for a bit. Once it's a bit translucent, we're going to be adding our beefless beef. This is just shy of around a pound. And we're going to break that up and we're going to let it cook till it's nice and brown. So after a couple minutes, when our meat is halfway cooked, we're going to add our spices and herbs. And we're going to stir that up. So after our meatless meat is brown but not fully cooked yet, we're going to add our poblano peppers and our red bell peppers. And we're going to stir those into our mix. Once they're nice and stirred, we're going to cover our pan and we're going to turn it off and let it cool down. Now it's time for the fun part. We're going to prep our dough. So I only added a light sprinkle of salt, and I'm adding about half a cup of cold vegan butter to about 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And now it's time to get our hands dirty. We're gonna just work the butter into the dough until it becomes like nice and grainy. You'll see the difference in texture. And then we're gonna add a half a cup, and then we added a half a cup. So it was like 3/4 of a cup. And we're gonna work our dough again. And we're just gonna massage it, unless I guess if you have one of those fancy baker stirring things, but I don't, so I just will use my hands. And you can feel the difference with your hands. Once it's not sticking to your fingers anymore, that means it's pretty much ready. So then we're gonna roll it into a ball shape. We're gonna put it back in the bowl, and we're gonna put it in the fridge for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now here I'm getting my baking tray prepped. I ran out of cooking spray, so I'm using oil. I'm just brushing it on there. Now here comes the fun part. I forgot to specify, I guess you do want your counter to be clean. We're going to take a nice chunk, medium-sized dough ball out of our big dough ball that we took out from the fridge. And we're going to roll it out with a rolling pin like a tortilla, but you don't want it that thin. You want it like a little bit thicker. So once you roll out your dough into a nice shaped circular dough masterpiece, you're going to stuff it with some cheese. We're going to put our filling in it. We're going to fold it over, we're going to press the sides, and we're going to seal it with a fork. There's a lot of different ways to seal it, but I'm using the fork technique. This step is important so that your empanada doesn't open up in the oven. And there you have it, a nice shaped empanada. Now to make more. Now you could fry these in the stove, but I chose to do the oven technique because I don't want to fry them. I wanted to be a little bit healthier. So I'm gonna brush some oil on the top of them before I stick them in my oven. And I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I didn't use all-purpose flour. I used whole wheat pastry flour from the bulk bin at my local Winco. And there you have it, guys. Make sure you don't eat all these by yourself. Make sure you share with friends and family. I was trying to get this recipe out before Cinco de Mayo so you guys could maybe try it for a party or something. I hope you guys enjoy. If I sounded tired on this video, it's because I was making empanadas all day and I'm super exhausted. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Also, stay tuned. This is part 1 of a part 2. I will be uploading another recipe tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Make sure you like and subscribe.